Hello everybody, Eddie V here. Welcome to another edition, episode 3 of Reef Talk. Now, in this episode we're going to talk why it's important to test your reef tank on a regular basis and to record it and not just guess what your parameters are. Like my mistake, I'll tell you guys my mistake, what happened of when I just did my own guessing. This video will explain you guys why it's important to test your reef tank. Now, before we get started, you guys may remember a video of my first Reef Talk episode. It was about protopallids, palatoxins, which is actually true, and you guys, some people have been saying, well, that I met up with who watched my videos, like, it can't be true because he actually touched it in the video. I go, well, he's lucky that it did not get him poisoned, because that stuff is really poisonous. I actually seen him with red eyes, and he had to go to eye doctor for palatoxin treatment. Now, some of you said he'd been touching it in inappropriate places, and I did go back and talk to him. First of all, I apologize for that. This will not happen again under any circumstances. It will be my policy to make sure that doesn't happen again. And I did go talk to him about the video, the issue that we had about the comments coming in, and that he's been badmouthed, sort of. Well, it is actually true what he did, touched in an inappropriate place. So I talked to him about it. I said, look, you cannot do this at my YouTube channel, and if you're ever gonna come and I'm gonna interview you or be on my YouTube channel again or have another episode with me, you will promise that you will not be doing those things. And he promised that you'll not be doing those things, and he apologized for touching in inappropriate places, and his sincere apology, so he will not be doing it again. Otherwise, he will not be included in the YouTube video ever. Now, as for me, I apologize too. Now, let's get on with the topic. Now, why is it important to test your reef tank? We're gonna cover some issues today. First of all, it's important to know so your fish and your corals and your vertebrates are thriving in those conditions. It's very important for their life in those conditions. If it's critical and you have bad parameters, many things could die. So let's go through some things that I did. I stopped testing my calcium, my KH. I stopped testing absolutely everything. So I was wondering why my corals ain't doing good. Well, it is because the calcium was at 600. So I did not test. I was guessing that maybe my corals are doing good because there's not enough calcium, so I kept on dosing calcium. Well, that wasn't the case. I took out my API test kit, which really is not good. So I bought a different test kit that I'm going to be using as of now to see what my calcium standings are. So here's the story of what my parameters were. So I'm gonna go back to week 1, a week ago. Or wait, hold on. Yeah, week 1 at 9, 13, 16. I have a 90-gallon tank. I have my nitrate is at 10 ppm. My nitrate is at 0 ppm. Alkalinity is at 120, which should be around 150 for a reef tank. And so, I mean, it doesn't do any harm, but it's recommended to be above 120, and pH is 7.8. So there's another problem right there I had that's kind of low. So now KH is at 8, calcium is at 600, and phosphate is at 0.25 or less, and specific gravity at 1.022. So I had to bump up the salinity and get my calcium down. So now week 2, I had a nitrate of 20 ppm, nitrite of 0 ppm, alkalinity 150, pH 8.0, calcium 520, phosphate 1.0, and KH 8. In my 3rd week, pretty much all the same. I had 10 ppm, 0, alkalinity 120 back. I don't know why I went back there, but pH 8.0, calcium around 500, and KH at 7, phosphate at 0.25 or less, and salinity, or specific gravity as they call it, that measures how much salt you have in your tank. I usually check at the fish shop because they have an actual optical looking scope where they look at it, and it's a direct reading and accurate. Now, based on this, I know I have to lower my calcium, I have to raise my pH up, and I have to raise the KH up. What a reef tank really should need is here's my opinion of what a reef tank parameter should be. Take in mind, this is one of the one you'll have the best success. That's what my thinking is. Nitrate at no more than 20 ppm. Nitrite absolutely at 0. Ammonia absolutely at 0. Alkalinity anywhere from 120 to 150. pH definitely at 8.3 or 8.4 or 8.2, but keep it at 8.3. That's my suggestion, and that's why I'm trying to raise it back up in order for everything to start thriving again. And calcium between 380 and 450. Don't go over 450, so keep it at around 420. That's just the emergency levels that a coral probably could take. So my parameters that I think are best for the corals at calcium is 480 to 380 to 450. So that's the parameters for the calcium. As for the phosphate, 0.25 or less. The less phosphates, the better it is, and cleaner the tank will get. And that means there will be less algae growing, and corals be able to grow faster, because phosphates do stop corals from growing fast enough. And so, but it's not harmful enough to kill it. Now, salinity, keep it at anywhere from 1.24 and to around 1.26 in a reef tank. That is the standard for a reef tank, and last time I checked at the fish shop, my salinity was at 1.25. So I'm good at the salinity part. Now, temperature wise, don't keep your tank, the reef tank, lower than 76 degrees and higher than 80 degrees. I keep my tank at 78 degrees. That's the optimal temperature that all species enjoy. So now I'm going to show you guys what I use for dosing and what I use to test my water with. And now keep in mind also, I just got recently a magnesium test kit that I haven't tested my magnesium levels yet, so I'll be testing them right after this video, and hopefully they're all good. And one of my fish tank update videos, I will tell you guys of how magnesium levels went. But right now, let's go check out what I use to test my parameters and what I use to dose them. Okay guys, so this is what I use to test my parameters. To check my temperature, I use this, and I can see it's ideal. Now, to test my salinity for a basic person, it'll be an instant ocean hydrometer. You wash it after every use with regular water, and then you test what it is, and based on these readings, it'll show you how much salt you got in your tank. And what I use is I go to the fish shop, and they have an accurate reading with this scope looking thing. Next, I just got a magnesium test kit that I hope to test and see how much magnesium levels got, and I use this Salifert calcium test kit, and I also use API tester kits. The phosphate readers are good, the nitrate readers are good, and the KH is good. The calcium testers on these, I think it's junk. So just switch over to the Salifert. They're one of the best accurate companies to test your parameters in a reef tank. Next, what I dose is I dose Reef Buffer, which is gets your pH up to 8.3. Next, I dose Reef Builder, which is gets your carbon alkalinity KH higher, and then I will use this magnesium thing, Reef Advantage Magnesium, to buffer my magnesium to the desired levels once I know if I'm high or low. And next, I got this calcification for reefs from Aqua Vitro, new company, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's impressive, but this is why probably I got so much calcium, because it's that strong. And this is CCAM. So my two favorite companies to get from for dosing is CCAM and Aqua Vitro. So guys, just so you know, just make sure you guys are able to keep your parameters in the right condition, and your reef tank should thrive. And now I will show you guys a table chart of what the parameters should be. Alright guys, this is the target parameters from saltwateraquarium.com. I believe these are quite useful to have check them out. Pause the video if you need to take any notes. But this is the perfect parameters for your reef aquarium. Alright guys, one last thing. Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and ask me a question or ask me a topic that I should do my next video on. Happy reefing!